Jimmy Carter, the president you know and love, the first president to reach the 100-year mark and the peanut farmer from Georgia. During his 36,614 days on Earth, Carter pursued rights, hard work, and kindness, and today I will discuss the 5 major parts of his life, from his presidency to his 43-year post-presidency. We'll talk about the Camp David Accords, impact on human rights, the economic failures of the 70s, the Iranian hostage crisis, and his post-presidency, all to answer the question, was Jimmy Carter's presidency a failure, or is he just admired for his post-presidency? We're going to find out, but first, if you've been enjoying my U.S. history content recently, please subscribe to the channel. It's just the very best way to support the hard work I do for these videos. We are very close to reaching 100 subs, and it would be a huge assist if you could help me get there. Now let's get into it. Firstly, the Camp David Accord was one of Carter's most important accomplishments. It was a peace agreement between Egypt and Israel. For decades, those two nations had been enemies and had fought in several wars. Carter invited Egyptian President Anwar Sadat and Israeli Prime Minister Menachem Begin to Camp David, the presidential retreat in Maryland, in 1978. After nearly 2 weeks of difficult negotiations, Carter helped both sides reach a historic peace deal. Egypt became the first Arab nation to officially recognize Israel, and Israel agreed to withdraw from the Sinai Peninsula. This was a huge achievement in the Middle East, which had been filled with conflict for generations. Carter's patience, personal involvement, and skill as a mediator were key to the agreement. Although peace in the Middle East was not fully solved, this deal has endured as a landmark achievement. Many historians still see the Camp David Accord as a highlight of his presidency. Second, another major part of Carter's legacy was his strong emphasis on human rights. Unlike many presidents before him, Carter made promoting human rights a central part of his U.S. foreign policy. He spoke out against dictatorships in Latin America, the Soviet Union, and Africa. Carter believed that America should set an example by supporting freedom and justice around the world. This approach earned him respect among people who were fighting for democracy and civil liberties. However, some critics argued that his focus on human rights made it harder for the U.S. to maintain strong relationships with countries that were important for security reasons. For example, ties with Iran and Nicaragua became strained. Still, Carter's commitment to human rights helped shape how future presidents thought about America's role in the world. He shifted the conversation from only protecting U.S. interests to also protecting human dignity. Third, on the negative side, Carter's presidency was also defined by serious economic problems. The late 1970s were marked by stagflation, which meant high unemployment, high inflation, and slow growth all at once. On top of all of that, energy shortages caused long lines at gas stations across the country. Carter tried to address the problem by encouraging Americans to save energy and look for alternative sources like solar power. In a famous speech, sometimes called the Malaise speech, he told Americans that the nation was facing a crisis of confidence. While he meant to inspire change, many people felt he was blaming citizens instead of offering solutions. Carter's efforts to tackle the energy crisis, including creating the Department of Energy, were forward-thinking but unpopular at times. His presidency became associated with economic struggles and frustration. These difficulties weakened his popularity and opened the door for Ronald Reagan's election in 1980. Fourth, what Carter's presidency is most remembered for. Perhaps the most damaging event of his term was the Iran hostage crisis. In 1979, Iranian revolutionaries stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran and took 52 American diplomats and citizens hostage. They held the hostages for 444 days, refusing to release them until Carter left office. Carter worked tirelessly behind the scenes to secure their freedom through diplomacy, but his efforts failed for most of his term. A rescue mission also ended in disaster when U.S. helicopters crashed in the desert, killing 8 soldiers. The crisis made Carter appear weak and ineffective to many Americans. It dominated the news and overshadowed many of his other accomplishments. The hostages were finally released moments after Ronald Reagan was sworn in as president, which humiliated Carter politically. This crisis left a lasting mark on his legacy and showed how international events can define a presidency. Despite the failure, Carter's determination to avoid full-scale war with Iran reflected his cautious and peace-focused approach. Finally, my favorite part of his legacy, his post-presidency, which became one of the most admired in American history. After leaving office, he dedicated himself to humanitarian causes around the world. He founded the Carter Center, which works to promote democracy, monitor elections, fight disease, and improve human rights globally. Jimmy and his wife Rosalind also became well known for volunteering with Habitat for Humanity, helping build homes for families in need. In 2002, Carter received the Nobel Peace Prize for his decades of working promoting peace and human rights. Many people came to respect him for more what he accomplished after the White House than during his time in it. His post-presidency redefined what former presidents can do with their influence and energy. Carter's dedication to helping others left a powerful example of leadership rooted in compassion. Well, Carter is often regarded by historians as a below-average president, but his impact on humanity is undisputable. He truly made the world a better place. But 2 of his 3 direct predecessors have faced extreme criticism for their character. Click here to learn more about Nixon or Johnson.